Welcome to the Lee Michaels Show. It's Open Phone Friday. This is when you have a chance to call in at 424-227-9461. Okay, you got that? You don't got that? I'll give it to you again. Okay, 424-227-9461. It's Open Phone Friday, whatever you want to talk about. And we'll also have a special guest coming up today at the bottom of the hour, 10:30 Pacific time. Al Woods of Woods Recruiting is going to come on and tell you how to make the transition for your son or daughter that wants to go to college, may be a pretty good athlete, but didn't get discovered by one of the colleges. So what do? You call Woods Recruiting, and they can hook you up. Get your son or daughter in school, perhaps a full or partial scholarship. So he'll tell you the ins and outs and how to get that done. Coming up at 10:30 this morning on the Lee Michaels Show. So you want to stick around for that for sure, especially if you know someone, and it's that time of the year. Everybody's going back to school, and those schools are expensive. Some of them are just ridiculously expensive. And, sometimes the coaches tell you, well, don't worry, I got you. I'm going to get you into college and all that, but it's not realistic. They can't really make that claim because there are too many students that they're working with, and they really don't have the time to be a scout for you. And you may not have been discovered by one of the college scouts. So you need somebody to help you break through that ice. So Al Woods from woodsrecruiting.com will come in and talk about that. He's been doing it for 20 plus years. So he knows the game big time. Good morning, Carol. How are you?
Getting it together. Good morning.
You got it together, or you still getting it together?
No, I shouldn't have ate that donut.
Yeah, got a little sugar headache, huh?
Yeah, I hope that's all it is.
That's all it is. You're just stressing over nothing. Just a little sugar attack.
I shouldn't have ate that donut. It's a warning, like, could eat any.
That wasn't a donut.
That was 3 donuts in one.
It was. That was a huge apple fritter. And I love those.
I'm nauseous now.
I love those. That's my favorite. But they're like boat anchors. They'll weigh you down.
Yeah, I learned a big lesson.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to give in to your desires and passions. And that's okay. It won't kill you.
No, I can't
Just
do
make
this
you
anymore.
sick.
It did. It gave me. It had to be what gave me a headache.
Yeah, that's probably all it is. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Get out and walk it off.
It isn't the walking. It's just it made me feel icky.
Yeah, but go do 3 miles after the show today, down on the beach. It's going to be a nice day today, they say. What do you think?
I don't know. They're never right.
They're pretty good. They're better here than some other places I've lived in because the weather here is pretty consistent. It's pretty predictable. The only difference, the only swing is if you're along the coast here versus it could be a 10, 15 degree temperature difference and sometimes more than that. Other than that, it's pretty consistent.
Hey, is Herb Albert dead or is he alive?
No, he's still alive.
Did you see where he donated $10 million and something to
Yeah.
the music school?
Yeah, that's
Because
fantastic.
they say a lot of kids can't stay in it because they have to work and all that.
Well, not only that, a lot of the schools don't even offer music programs anymore. So I saw that
college,
yesterday.
So this isn't regular school.
Yeah, I know, but even some of the colleges don't offer it. So, to get I think it was $10.1 million. I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, it says Los Angeles City College he gave it to.
Yeah. Herbie is a great guy. I've met him several times. Almost went to work for A&M Records back in the day as an A&R person to bring in new talent. But as luck would have it, just when he was trying to hire me, they decided to do cutbacks, so the job never opened up. But he's a great guy. I interviewed him several times on the radio and hung out with him at the A&M compound. Do you know where that used to be? A&M
No.
Records?
Huh.
I want to say it was right off of Sunset, and was that La Brea, or it wasn't La Cienega. It was one of the streets that ran north and south. I can see it clear as a bell. And that was the old Charlie Chaplin studio when they used to do silent films back in the day.
So now this free tuition will probably go to the kids that are already registered before the new ones.
I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I didn't get a chance to read the entire article, but I saw the headline.
It's giving them free tuition.
Is that what it is? That's great. Good job, Herbie.
Yeah,
That's
because
great.
everything's so high now. It's like it's just another way to stop the poor from going to school and
Yeah.
stuff. Because who can afford to pay for stuff? It's like I've been watching something today on. Why am I saying
You hear other people do it.
Yeah, I can't do that. See, and I wanted to say it again.
But see, you know how to break it? You pause. All it is your brain is moving faster than your mouth,
Okay, I'm going to try that.
or your mouth is moving faster than the brain. So when you feel like you don't know what you're going to say next, just pause.
Well, you know what I found funny is I've noticed they've been attacking different grocery stores saying they have mice in them that.
Yeah, I saw that report
But you
yesterday.
know what? Don't sit here and act like it doesn't happen in the Beverly Hills grocery
Oh,
stores.
it's everywhere.
Or the big major ones. Because a lot of the grocery stores they're talking about, they're a chain, but I think a lot of them are privately owned. And I seen the press sitting outside one saying to people, "Oh, are you going to go in there today because they opened up?" And there was one lady said, "Oh, I'm not going to go." But a man said, "Yeah, I'm going to shop." Because I remember a long time ago, somebody was at a grocery store and I paused. They were looking.
See?
They were looking to buy greens. When they were digging in there was a snake in it. So anything can happen anywhere, but it's just to me another way to try to stop people from going to those particular stores.
Well, it could
See,
be.
because they're more reasonably priced. I find their vegetables that are Latin owned and Armenian owned or whatever, they seem to have better fruit and vegetables and their prices aren't as high. Because you'll see them coming in with the trucks.
Well,
There's one I go to, I think I turned Josefa on it to before, and you go out there and they have huge barrels of corn on the cob. You can get like sometimes 10 for $1. Totally different than when you go to the inner city stores.
Yeah.
You can get all types of stuff. So I shop at them. Even if they said there was a mouse there, I've seen
Well,
rats.
the mice
in
are
it.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Mice
I've
and
seen
rats
one
are
in Home
everywhere.
Depot.
You
I
just
think-
don't see them.
Oh, I've seen the one in Home Depot.
Well,
I
I'm ju-
thought it was a cat. I was with Josefa and I seen something run across, and I said to the guy, "You have cats in here?" And he said, "No." I said,
Well, you
"I
should.
I just seen one. Oh, a cat couldn't kill that rat." He said, "No, we have rats." Now, the other day I go in there and I videotaped this. There was a little white, I don't know if it was a pigeon or a dove, and it was like
Flying around in there?
No, he wasn't flying.
He was walking.
He was walking.
He was shopping.
shopping.
Yeah, he was.
He would look at something and turn. So I did a little video talking about how he's shopping. I stayed right behind him, didn't try to fly away or nothing.
Yeah, he was shopping. He was looking for some feed.
Yeah, because I said to one of the guys, I said, "You don't notice is it a dove or a pigeon?" Because it was white, and they said,
Yes.
"Oh, he's here all the time."
Yeah.
They go, "He's shopping."
He was probably looking for the area where they sell the flowers and stuff. So you should have directed him over in that direction. Say, "Come on, little birdie."
No, he was looking for something because he went up to stuff. He would look and then move on.
Yeah.
It was just like watching a human shop.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen
Didn't
birds
budge
in those
when I
places.
went by him.
Yeah. I've seen birds at Home Depot and places like that. Yeah, they come in there and just hang out.
Yeah, they'll be flying in there, but I've never seen one just walking around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of the animals become pretty domesticated. You know, they're around humans enough that they don't fear it.
Well, that rat that was as big as a cat,
Yeah, it's a big
I don't
rat.
know if he was domesticated, but
You know his name, right?
rat.
No, Biggie Rat.
Oh,
He's a gangster. Gangster
But
rap.
they were telling me because of the plants and the gardens they have.
Yeah.
That's how come. But I go, this one wasn't in no garden.
No,
I
they roam
actually
around.
went outside after that. I go, oh, Joseph, I'll be outside waiting.
You were scared, huh?
I
Why
don't
are
know.
people
I don't
afraid of them?
like rodents.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of snakes. Oh, I did it again. Not scared of snakes, but rodents, a little tiny mouse, I'm going to run.
Hmm.
I'm trying to,
What about a squirrel?
well, there was one in my bed. Didn't I tell you that?
Yeah, you told me about that.
Can you imagine? First, I came home 4 days prior. My window was broke. That window cost me $450 to replace. So it's obvious it came in through the fireplace and got scared and hit that window trying to get out.
You think
For
the squirrel broke the window?
who broke
No.
it?
Probably a kid with a
No,
ball or
there's no
something.
kids in my house. No,
No,
there's
not in the house, but
there's a
outside.
screen. It was broke from the inside. You could tell by the way the glass was. If it was
Ah.
broke from the outside, the glass would have been inside. But
Yeah.
the glass was sitting in between the screen. But 4 days later, I came home. I laid down on the bed, but I had seen the cats on the balcony in their condo.
Now, could he have knocked something over into the window? Because I can't imagine a little squirrel being able to break
You
the
know
glass.
what? If you're scared, like I've told you before, you have more strength you
yeah,
could ever imagine.
yeah.
Because the
I can
day
dig
I
that.
came in and this squirrel was on the bed,
Was there any squirrel blood on him or a cut or anything like that?
I didn't see him that day. I came home. I kept telling the complex, because I have a condo, I kept saying, I hear something in the fireplace or the wall. I would tell them continuously and they wouldn't listen to me.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I came home the window. But 4 days later, I lay on the bed and something jumps off. And I go, well, I know the cats were on the balcony. All of a sudden, I hear all this noise. The little squirrel was petrified because he ran straight for the balcony. The cats were out there. Two of them ran inside, but little man's just looking at him like, is this something to eat or
What is that?
What is it?
Yeah.
But that poor squirrel, when they say, remember was it a cartoon called Rocky?
Yeah.
And the squirrel's
Rocky
flying?
and Bullwinkle.
They do look like they're flying. I mean,
Oh, they're
that
flying
squirrel was
squirrels.
so I get little man in. I'm petrified. Shut the door. Call the place to come pick him up. They tell me they can't because they're by Dodger Stadium. They tell me to call the police. I called the police and they knew exactly what to do.
Right.
They called somewhere. The people called me. They came out to get him, but the guy was dressed like in a hazard suit.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, when
And
you
I said to him, I go,
bitten by a squirrel.
I told him, you're
it could
not
be
going to
rabbit.
kill him, are you? He said, if I have to. I said, no, you're not going to kill him, not in my house. So he took the screen off, and when the squirrel started flying above his head, because for a minute he said, oh, he's not in here. I go, yes, he is. That thing come flying above his head. But he went out the
the window.
window.
Yeah. It's still a mystery to me about the broken glass. I can't imagine a squirrel being able to break it. I'm thinking he knocked something over into the window, maybe.
There was nothing. It lays next to my bed, the window. I came home, the window was cracked.
Nobody else was at home.
No, nobody goes in my room.
I don't know. That's a mystery.
No, it really wasn't. I knew it was a squirrel because I kept telling them something was in the wall.
Well, I believe that the presence of the squirrel is just hard for me to
Because
wrap my
there was
head
some
around.
people downstairs. There was 4 of them that came to their house.
Being able to throw his body into the window and break it, that's just hard to swallow.
Not really. If you can take your fist and you're upset and you hit something, you can break it.
Yeah, but I'm 185 pounds.
It doesn't matter what you are.
A
I know
squirrel is,
somebody that was 5
not
years
even a half a
old
pound.
and got mad and kicked the window of someone's car from the inside and broke it just like
Oh,
that.
yeah, of course. But that's the squirrel's not even a half a pound, probably. You
Oh,
think
this
that's
squirrel
that
was
much
about
force?
I'd say the one that I found the day in my house was probably a 7-pounder.
That's a fat ass squirrel.
There's some big squirrels around.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's a mystery. But Carol has an answer to that mystery. She thinks the squirrel broke the window.
No, I don't think it. I know he broke the window. It's not even a matter of thinking. I couldn't be married to Lee.
Yeah, because see, I apply logic to things like that, and it's just that that dog
Well,
won't hunt.
logic isn't always right.
Well,
I mean, there's instances where something's happened and somebody's able to pick up a car to get it off of whatever it was on.
yeah, but that's human,
No, it's
strength.
the same as
That-
anything. When you're frightened, there's no telling what you could do. And that squirrel was frightened and ran straight through the window. The
Squirrel
didn't
expert
get
to
out,
call
though,
in,
that
please.
away.
I need a squirrel expert to
I don't
home
need
in
an
on this.
expert. I know that squirrel broke my window.
I'm saying the squirrel did not break your window. Somebody on the inside. I think maybe one of your
If
roommates.
I said left, he'd say right.
I'm trying to defend the squirrel's honor. You know?
Yeah, I wish I could have got my money back from the squirrel.
Right. $450, huh?
Yeah, even the guys that came and replaced it because they had to take the window out
Mm-hmm.
and take it outside to put the window, fix it.
They
And
just
they
replaced the
said
glass.
the
They
same-
didn't replace the frame and everything, right?
No, just the glass.
Wow. I'm in the wrong business. $450 just to
Well,
replace the glass.
actually, the glass that had been in it wasn't as strong, and they told me you need a stronger glass.
Oh, the upsell. The famous upsell. Yeah, lady, tell you what, here's what we'll do. You need to upgrade your glass here. This one is ultraviolet protection. It keeps the sun from damaging your goods in your house, and it's only $450, but it'll last forever. Is that what he said to you?
No.
He probably did. But yeah, that's a interesting little squirrel story there. Carol has many, many, many off the wall crazy stories. That's what make people interesting, I think. I love stories, and if someone's a good storyteller, I'm captivated by that.
Oh, I did that once, a storyteller, a ghost story to some kids. We were out at Michael Jackson's ranch. And one of the little houses, there's like 4 houses connected, little tiny rooms.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little girl statue that's set outside there. So the guard out there tells me that this little girl died in there, and that's why the statue's there. So I decide I'm going to tell all the kids that story. So I sit down, I tell the kids a ghost story about it.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who got scared?
Oh, you did.
Yes. I couldn't sleep all night.
You psyched yourself out?
I psyched myself out. I sat up, I looked around, wanted to get on, because we had like cots.
Lord have mercy.
And I scared my own self. I really did, telling that story. Because, see, when the security guard told me it, I thought he was telling the truth. But when I told the kids, it was like,
You believed it. Yeah,
but
you bought into
I
it.
enhanced the story to
It's
the children.
It's Open Phone Friday, 424-227-9461. Anything you want to talk about, not just what we want to talk about, but call in, be a part of the show. Coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to have Professor Al Woods, world-renowned sports recruiter. If you have just left high school or leaving high school next year or the year after, and you're an athlete, whether it's volleyball, baseball, basketball, track, football, whatever, and you haven't been approached yet by one of the colleges, you might want to talk to Woods Recruiting, and he's going to tell you what the service that his company performs in about 10 minutes or so. So stay tuned for that. Because colleges are very expensive, and God knows if you can get a scholarship, full or portion, why not? But there are so many people trying to get into college, and they have the misfortune of not being knowledgeable enough to understand all of the intricate details and programs that you should be aware of. So Woods Recruiting can help you with some of those things. That's coming up at the bottom of the hour.
I have a question I want to
Sure.
ask you.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's say a canine. Remember Jethro,
Yeah.
the canine that the man killed?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's fair he got 45 years in prison?
Well, that's
That's a great question to ask people because that's what they convicted him of.
45 years for killing a dog.
Man who killed Ohio police K9. Remember they did a big funeral.
Well, see, yeah. But
he
see,
was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Now that's something I'm really curious about. What most people's opinion. I'm an animal lover, but I think 45 years is a little extreme. I think they gave him 30 something and then added another 10 for robbery.
Well, see, when you kill a police dog, that's like killing a cop. So that I think that's why it's so many years, because they look at them as equal to being a cop. But I got to tell you, if somebody sick a dog on me, I'm going to defend myself. I might end up killing the dog too, and I love dogs, but out of fear, and it's either me or the dog's going down because I might bite him. I mean, I can understand why. I'm assuming that the dog had attacked this guy, right?
I don't know. Probably. I
Yeah.
just know I still just curious what most people feel. Should he have gotten he got actually got 34 years and then
They had another
another
10
11
for
for the
robbery.
robbery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So,
let's look at it that way. 34 years. Is that too much time for killing a cop dog?
well, I'm an animal lover, but I think it's a little too much time.
What do you think is
If you
fair?
let a 18-year-old off from raping two young women, who it could scar them for life unless you've never had something happen. But a lot of people that have had these things happen, it does
Hmm.
scar you for life.
Of course,
And
absolutely. It's
he got
horrible.
off completely because he's an athlete.
Well, I don't think that's right at all.
The judge said, "Well, I don't want to sentence him yet because he's good in three sports or something." And I mean, here we have
C'est la vie.
another. There was three this year, if you look, four actually,
Hmm.
three Caucasian guys and one black. One Caucasian guy gets off, and he's going to be sentenced later or possibly dropped. That's the newest one.
Okay.
The next one, he got 6 months, but he was put in jail, and he'll be out in possibly 3 months. The other one wears what do you call those?
Security
A secu-
bracelet.
yes, but the young black guy that was the star football player who didn't deny it because there was other kids that did it with him. The girl
Hmm.
was drunk.
Hmm.
He gets 15 years
Yeah, I
in
saw
prison.
that. That's
So
crazy.
it just kind of throws me. You're going to
It just
sentence
seems to
this
be
man to
inconsistent.
34 years for shooting a dog that possibly they did have him attacking the man. I don't know. I got to read the whole story.
Hmm.
So it just seems. I'm curious what race he is.
I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the story, but I'll say this. Our justice system seems to be all over the place in terms of how much time they give someone for a specific crime. And the three cases that you just brought up, it's clear that it's not fair and balanced and consistent. And that's what so many people get upset about. They say, well, how does that happen? Why? Is that word again? Why?
Well, I think with this guy, I would have gave him so much time maybe for robbery and maybe 2 years for killing the dog. And then I would have gave him like a community service where he had to work maybe at the dog
At a
pound.
humane society? Yeah.
Yes, but I think that's a little too much.
34 years for killing a police dog.
Yes. But you
What
but
do you guys think? 424 227
I mean
9461?
young girls get raped and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a sentence for life. Some girls don't get past it.
Yeah, exactly.
And vice versa. There's young men that have been raped and do they get past it?
Mm. Yeah.
And I mean, especially for a young man to get raped or either by an older woman or a group of boys decide they're going to do something to him, which I think is horrible. And that
Yeah.
does happen. I've seen a case not long ago where these football players did something very terrible to a young man.
Mm.
That if
That's
it was my
disgusting.
kid though, they wouldn't have to worry. They wouldn't be going to court. I
We-
believe in an eye
We
for
live
an
in a
eye.
sick society. There's no question about
Lately,
it.
it is a very sick society. Remember, I
Hmm.
was telling you that this morning about the cutest little baby. Oh, they did it again. The cutest little baby that was found in the backseat of a car. The mother was seriously drunk. The baby had feces, urine, and they said you could see he had been hit or something before.
Mm.
The policeman was so nice. I mean, it was great. They took the baby before the social, what is it, the welfare, whoever comes and gets him,
Social services.
put
Yeah.
him in a sink and washed the baby up. Now, this is the
God bless
cutest little baby.
Mm.
The baby's just all smiles.
Yeah.
And then one of the legal guardians was able to come and get the baby, but she should not be able to get that baby back because we might see a year from now where she's driving drunk and the baby gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
See, because they make that mistake. There's a case of a girl in Echo Park.
Mm-hmm.
This just happened too. And she had an 11-year-old son. Now, they studied this case backwards, all the way back from when he was younger. He would come to school maybe with a black eye.
Right.
He would be so hungry that he would ask kids for their food. They said he would eat like he hadn't eaten. When they found this young man this week inside a closet, a very small closet, in a fetal position, dead. He was
That's sick.
malnutrition. He had been beaten. Now, I'm curious if the social service had been called before, because we're finding a lot of this happening with people when they give the mother back the child. They had been called in before from teachers that said he would come to school with a black eye. Now, we're talking an 11-year-old boy that's now dead. This is happening too much. To me,
It
if
does.
a mother proves to be unfit, I don't care what she goes through, do not give her back that child. Because it's just telling you something. Because look at the other case today. I mean, this is probably depressing to people. But then we have a child. Am I on the air or off?
Yeah, you're on there. Yeah.
There was a child. She was 10 years old, I believe. The mother, I think the boyfriend, and the cousin. They found this little girl when they got there dismembered because somebody called the police. They had shot her up with methane, raped her, and then chopped her up. Now, why do you let these women have these? If you see somebody's a major drug addict or that, and they've been arrested, or the person's, why do you give them back these children?
Yeah.
Why?
I tell you what, we're going to put a point right there, and we'll come back and pick up that conversation. We're going to take a break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to bring in Al Woods from Woods Recruiting. If you're a parent, you got a son or daughter who's an athlete, and you want to get them in college, and no college is knocking on your door, well, I got Houdini, the man that can make it happen. Stand by. Al Woods from Woods Recruiting on thepowerofvoices.com right here on The Lee Michaels Show. Stand by.
You having fun yet? Thepowerofvoices.com.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the
fine.
most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm
don't
and
ignore
keep to the
this
plan.
message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Attention Las Vegas residents. Olympic Cleaning Services is the company for all your green cleaning needs. Call us now, 866-984-7444. Olympic Cleaning Services specializes in residential, commercial, construction, move-in, move-out, carpet cleaning, auto detailing, and we also provide emergency services when you need it. Call us now, 866-984-7444. For all first-time customers, you'll receive 15% off. Call us now, 866-984-7444, or go to OlympicCleaningservices.com. Go green today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Simone.
And this is Tiara, and we're the host of A Fat Girl's World here on thepowerofvoices.com.
Make sure you tune in on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 4 p.m.
Yes, and we literally talk about everything. Typically, women things,
Women things, but we get personal.
We get personal.
Super real.
So if you guys like real, here's the place to be.
At A Fat Girl's World at thepowerofvoices.com.
I'm Nancy Renee.
And I'm Adrienne Shapiro.
We're the founders of Access Advocacy, a nonprofit for the benefit of people with sickle cell disease.
We provide education and support for families, caregivers, and the medical community.
Join us every Tuesday at noon Pacific Time on thepowerofvoices.com.
We'll talk about current issues, what's on the horizon for treatment, and how to help families living with chronic diseases. And we look forward to you joining us on Tuesdays at noon Pacific on thepowerofvoices.com.
Who says you can't have fun and learn at the same time? Thepowerofvoices.com.
All right, back on the Lee Michaels Show. Welcome back. Don't forget to share the show on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or wherever you hang out in the social media world. We are live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time. And we're live on YouTube and Facebook Live. And you can catch us 24/7 because after the show is over, it stays there forevermore. So you can come back and check it out if you don't have time to catch the show in its entirety. When it's live, you can come back and it's just like on-demand TV. Now, a special guest on the show today. It is Open Phone Friday, so you can join in at any time and be a part of the discussion here. And we have a special guest who has been in the recruiting business for a long, long time. And I'll let him come on and tell you a little bit more about his background, but he's also played professional basketball. He's been in and around the sports. He's a sports fan, to say the least. Al Woods from Woods Recruiting. Welcome to the show, Big Al.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Al is based in Cleveland, so he's coming to us live through Skype. Welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about your background, Al.
Well, my background is athletics. I played basketball, high school basketball. From Virginia Beach, Virginia. I played college basketball at West Virginia State, and I played professionally in Argentina. So all of that experience, that background, after all of that was over, I decided to open a recruiting service to work with student athletes and give them the same opportunities I had to go to college.
And how long have you been doing that?
So we started this in August of 1989, and we've been going strong basically ever since then. We've helped thousands of student athletes get recruited and get placed in college, scholarships, financial packages. We've got kids Division I scholarships and all different levels. So, and all sports as well. So that's kind of what we do.
Excellent, excellent. So it's a love and a passion for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's me playing sports, me and my brother playing sports all our life. That's kind of how it's been, and it's just a passion. Just to be able to see student athletes succeed, that's been the number one goal, being able to help them achieve their goals and dreams of playing in college. Tell
me a little bit about the process for those parents that may be listening and some of the student athletes that may be listening to the show right now. If I'm in the 10th grade and I play, say, football, what should I be thinking about?
Well, the number one thing that we see with a lot of student athletes is the grades. They're not taking academics as serious as they should. They're focusing on their athletic ability, and that's great. I mean, that's what's going to get them the attention of the college coaches, but it's academics. If they're in the 10th grade, they need to be focusing on maintaining a strong grade point average and then start preparing for the standardized test, SAT or ACT. Either one is good. Start studying for that, getting prepared for that, doing what you can do in the classroom to have good grades. Your football ability or whatever sport you're playing will probably take care of itself. You're probably going to put hours and hours of time into your, athletic ability to get better. But academics is just as important for what they do on the football field or whatever sport they're focusing on.
Now, tell me a typical situation when you talk to parents and students. What do you typically see? And it's my understanding that many times the coaches of the high school at the high school level will tell the kids that, don't worry, I got you. I'm going to help you get into a college. Is that a good thing to believe? Can they really do that?
Well, some high school coaches can do it, but the problem is it's the time factor. That's going to be the thing that kind of messes it up. I mean, it requires a huge amount of time. Most high school coaches are teachers.
Right.
They're teachers first. Let's say they're the math teacher, English teacher, and then they're the coach, on the side,
Right.
part-time at the end of the school day. They've already had a long day. So where are they going to fit in their schedule, in their long schedule? Where are they going to fit to work with the student athletes and help them get recruited? It's just not enough time. So parents, they need to focus on, getting this process started as soon as possible and not relying on putting all their eggs in one basket when it comes to the high school coach, because you just don't know if that coach is going to be able to handle the responsibilities, because they've got a long day as a teacher, and then the day becomes longer because they're coaching practice or they have games, and then at the end of the day, they want to go home. It's over.
And they got
So-
15 or 20 kids that are trying to get into a college. And how is
Right.
that possible? I mean, how can they possibly do it?
It's not possible. It's not doable. And so this is why we've seen countless situations where student athletes who are very talented, good grades, all of that going on for them, but then they're overlooked by college coaches because their names are not getting out there. They were under the assumption that maybe the high school coach would help, and the parents were under that same belief as well. I don't want to blame the high school coach, but it's not always their fault. It's a
Right.
time factor.
It's
a
more
time
than they
issue.
can handle.
Right. And so the parents, they need to seek out help, representation, basically, guidance in the process, and begin the process as soon as possible. Once the parent has identified that their child is a athlete, is good, maybe has some potential, then they need to, take action immediately as far as, getting their son or daughter's name out there, checking about academics. Do we need video? There's a million and one things that they need to do. And the best thing is to get started in this process as soon as possible.
On an average, how many students do you help on an annual basis to get into college?
It's hundreds. It's hundreds, because we have a team of scouts all across the country who are very dedicated. They have the passion for student athletes. A lot of the people who work for Woods Recruiting they're club coaches. They coach AAU. We have softball coaches. And so they have a great passion for student athletes. We're signing student athletes up on a very consistent basis. The team is doing an excellent job in finding these student athletes. So we're doing very well in that area. And I know there's millions of student athletes out there who they think they're being recruited, but they're actually not. It's only going to be a small percentage who are going to get the small percentage that'll have the opportunity to pick where they want to go to school, and the other 99% of student athletes are not going to be in that have that luxury. So,
Right.
We have our team on the ground. They're finding these student athletes, and they're being very successful at that. And we just want to be able to help as many student athletes as possible.
Excellent. I see it as a very valuable tool to have in your reach, if you will. If I was a parent, I would definitely be looking at something like that. Now, the reality is there are X number of colleges around the country, universities, colleges, whatever. And there are, would you say, tens of thousands of athletes trying to get into a college on an annual basis?
The problem is going to be that, if you think about this, the number of colleges has basically remained the same. I mean, it's a small pool of colleges, but the number of athletes has increased.
Right.
So, you're trying to
Very
put
competitive.
thousands of athletes into hundreds of colleges. It's just not going to fit. Somebody's going to lose out. Some athlete who's very talented is going to miss out on a scholarship. And so I think it's just critical to begin the process as soon as possible, where the student athlete can get their names basically into the hands of as many college coaches as possible.
Now, at what high school grade level? I use the example of 10th grade, but is that early enough? Is that the right time?
It's the right time, but it's even changing to where these colleges are identifying who these kids are when they're in the 8th and 9th grade, middle school.
Wow.
And Yeah, and the reason for that is that they're trying to build a relationship with the student athlete and the family, over a period of time, building a relationship because recruiting is so competitive. Every college is trying to get the best player, but those schools who have the relationship will probably end up getting those players. So it's very competitive. It's starting earlier and earlier than ever before. A scholarship is worth a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Education.
And the colleges are getting to be more and more expensive every day. And now what a lot of people don't understand is every student athlete does not get a scholarship. And most of the students that want to go to college, they may have a decent grade point average. They may be okay as an athlete, or vice versa. They may be a great athlete, and the academics is a little light. What do you tell the students when you identify those two different situations? How can you help them?
Well, the sport would be a big factor in it. And then if their grades are in bad shape, then it's either going to be junior college. And so the problem with some junior colleges is that, the athlete it may have to go a long way from home. They're not used to being away from home. They're maybe going to be in a small town, but it can work. But it's let's say they have major college talent. And so what's going to happen is if their grades are not good, then these athletes become invisible. College coaches are just going to ignore them because they don't have the grades. It may be a great athlete, the next Michael Jordan or whatever, but if they don't have the grades, it doesn't matter. And so it's going to be junior college. And then we want to work with them soon enough. If we can get them in the 10th grade, then we can, me and my team, we can guide them and counsel them and advise them on academic issues, on how to prepare for the standardized test, all of which is critical.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have that time to give the parents that information.
And help develop them and build those relationships. So now your job seems to be very complex. Identifying the students, first of all, that are potential candidates that you can help get into the school. And then you have to have relationships with the colleges as well. So you're like double dribbling all the time.
Well, it's a
little basketball term there,
it's important to have relationships with the coaches. This is how we're getting the kids into college. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but yeah, we've had great relationships over the years, and even some of the scouts who are part of Woods Recruiting have have developed relationships as well. This is how we're getting them into school. So the process, it is a process, but it does work.
Now, let me ask you, say I'm a parent and I've got a son that wants to go into college, and he's got a good grade point average, and he's a decent athlete, but he's been ignored by the scouts, and the coach, the high school coach, hasn't been able to help him. So I contact you. What information and what's the process that you have? So when I contact you, what do you tell me? What do you need from me at that point?
Well, we're going to try to find out exactly who the student athlete is. We're going to ask some questions of, what level of college can you play at? What can you do athletically? So we're trying to get some background. We're trying to find out the grades. That way we can look for the perfect match when it comes to colleges. We'll know what this athlete can do. We're going to know the kind of college programs to target. So then we will be able to tell that story and put the information on our website where college coaches will be able to get this information. But we're also going to need video. We're going to need, an accurate description, I guess, of their athletic story, their academic history, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Grade point average, SAT scores, have they taken the SAT? So these are the things that we're going to ask parents. What camps have you been to? Who's recruiting you? Are you being recruited? Have you received letters? So these are going to be the kind of questions that we want to ask and find out so we can have a true picture and a true understanding of what that student athlete is going through and how we can help them.
Now, I would think that some parents will contact you, have a conversation with them. They may be a little skeptical. Tell us some of the problems that you run into from the parents and students, and give us some answers as to how you deal with that.
Well, I mean, we do have a lot of situations where a parent will reach out to us and they may have a certain level of skepticism. A lot of that comes from they're reading message boards and websites, and they're hearing negativity, and they're being told one thing, but they should do something else. Or maybe they've spent a lot of money going to camps, and they've gotten no results. And they're like, well, now I've got to spend money with a recruiting service. How do we know we're going to get results?
Right.
So, so that's kind of some of the issues that they're dealing with. And as parents, the parents are really confused on what they should do and who they should trust. And so our team, we try to ask a lot of questions so we can build up trust and get them to understand that the process needs to take place now, and that, every day wasted, in recruiting is a day
Sure.
lost that they can't get back. And so we try to get that message out to them, and it's very important that they understand that. And so some will change their minds and come on board with us. Others will just let that skepticism be a noose around their neck where it's going to just hold them back and prevent them from moving forward. And then they'll run into a situation where it becomes a disaster. And then, the student athlete is going to end up going to a college that's beneath their athletic ability. So these are kind of the things we run into from time to time, and it's the student athlete, we already know they're ready to go right now, but it's the parents who are going to be the ones who are making that decision and making that financial decision to move forward with us.
So tell us some of the mistakes that are made that you guys have to come in and try to correct to get this student into a school.
Yeah, some of the biggest mistakes would be procrastination. I think that's number one. I think it's the biggest killer in the recruiting process, because you'll just have the parents who, and they don't understand how it all works all the time. And so they're delaying this process week after week, month after month, because they are not totally sure what to do. They think that maybe a miracle will happen. The high school coach will come in and save the day, or that their son or daughter will get found by a college program. And that's not always the case. It's the student athletes whose name is out there first, often and early, are going to get recruited. Those student athletes who are sitting back and waiting are not going to get recruited. So I believe it's a procrastination issue, and it's usually generated by the parents who are causing these problems.
Interesting. How can people get in touch with Woods Recruiting?
Well, they can go to woodsrecruiting.com. We got a great website. There's a ton of information on there. They can reach out to us on social media. We're on Facebook. Basically, just about everybody who's a part of the Woods Recruiting team is on Facebook. And, you can reach me on Twitter. You can reach one of our scouts. If you live in a certain city, we may have a scout there. You can reach out to that scout and start developing a relationship with that scout and having a conversation. Then they can start working with you. But we're on social media. You can just, do a Google search, woodsrecruiting.com, or do a search on Facebook or Twitter, and you can find us. But woodsrecruiting.com, there's a ton of information about what we do and how we make it happen and what we can offer parents and student athletes.
Do you need additional scouts?
We do.
Recruiters?
We're growing. An ideal situation is to be able to have a scout in every high school in the country. That would be perfect. So we're adding people to our team on a weekly basis. So that's great. We're getting a lot of people who are very dedicated, who have deep passion to see student athletes succeed. So we're always looking to bring in more people.
Excellent. Do you have someone here in Southern California, LA area?
Well, we don't. The furthest person we have is in the outside of Phoenix, the Chandler, Arizona area. So that's the furthest west from Cleveland.
Okay. All right. So you need somebody in California, or several people.
Yeah, California is a huge state, so if we can get in every decent-sized city in California, we would love to have someone there in each city.
And you recruit in all sports, not just basketball or football, right?
Yeah, all sports. What we're finding nowadays is, female athletes. That's becoming very important. I mean, if you noticed in the Olympics, I mean, most of the medals were won by the female athletes.
That's true. They killed it.
They crushed it. So, softball, fast pitch softball, track, these are becoming huge sports. Volleyball, huge sports. So they give full scholarships as well, and their games and conferences are covered on TV. So it's changing.
Did you watch much of the Olympics?
Probably every day.
What now? There was a little controversy among the four swimmers that went out and got a little boozed up and had too much fun and concocted this tale that turned out not to be true. Well, how do you look at that? I mean, give me your professional opinion. Did they cause a lot of damage, not only to themselves but to us as Americans?
Well, I mean, the Olympics, before it even began, there was all of this negativity about can Rio host the Olympics and,
right,
can they even put it together? And so they were doing their best to put together the best Olympics they could. And so now these guys come in and do something stupid, telling a few lies, and now it's this big thing when they were trying to have a perfect Olympics.
Right.
I don't think it ruined the Olympics, but the big thing in athletics is integrity. Even back to recruiting, is that the college coach is going to want to investigate everything the student athlete is doing on social media. So if you're telling a few lies and doing a few dumb things, it's going to hurt you.
Yeah, and once it's out there on the internet, buddy, it's hard to pull it back in.
Right, you can't take it back.
So that's some good advice to the young people out there. Be very careful about what you place on your social media, because that's now that's a modern day resume. People are going to talk to you on the phone and then go straight to your social media just to see what kind of clowning you're doing.
Well, they're going to, when it comes to recruiting, the colleges are going to ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
What is your Twitter account, your Facebook, your Instagram, Snapchat? They're going to ask for it. And so student athletes and their parents need to be mindful, of what they're putting out there. If they're out there drinking beer and, all this kind of crazy things, then it's going to hurt them in recruiting.
Interesting.
But I would just think the student athletes should just post about what they're doing on whatever sport they're playing and how they're doing in the classroom, and if they're going on a family vacation or something like that. And that should really be the extent of it.
Mm-hmm. Keep it down.
Keep it pop.
Yeah. Well, any other advice that you want to share with us or experiences again, and then tell us again how people can get in touch with you?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've helped a lot of kids get into college, and that's kind of what we're all about. That's our mission. That's our number one goal. And I think, more student athletes need to just start this process early. Don't wait. There's so many athletes out there. Everyone is looking to get a scholarship. There's only so many scholarships available. And then there's financial money. There's only so much of that available. Once that's all gone, then there's nowhere to go. So start the process early, seek out help, seek out advice. The parents and student athletes should talk to Woods Recruiting. Go to woodsrecruiting.com and check us out on social media. We're there. We're all over the place. And talk to us. That way we can find out what the problem you're having, and then we can come up with a strategy to help you. Maybe you're not even having a real problem, but you need some advice, you need some guidance, you need to be pointed in the right direction, and that's what we're going to do.
I just got a text from a friend to ask this question.
Okay.
Above and beyond, or in addition to your academic ability, your athletic ability, what else are the colleges looking at? Is public service important?
It's important. I mean, it's important to be a good citizen, in the community. It's important to be, if you're, you got a study program, maybe you're working with middle school kids, helping them, maybe you had a fundraiser, and you have some video of the fundraiser. Maybe it's a car wash, and you can post some video online of what you're doing in the community. You're raising money, you're helping out the poor, the homeless, you're doing things like that. I mean, that goes to character. And so colleges, they want to have good character people on their campus who are going to give 110% in athletics and in the classroom, because that's the last thing a college coach needs to worry about is, are you going to class and getting the work done?
Excellent.
But if you're out there in the community and you're helping people and you're doing good things, and then you have all of those other intangibles, good grades or a good athlete, that's going to help you big time.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Al, and I'll invite you back again. You let me know when you got some special things going on. If you are out there and you want to be a recruiter, we want to be a part of the Woods recruiting team, go to their website, woodsrecruiting.com, ask for Big Al, and he'll hook you up. And students, if you want to introduce Woods Recruiting to your mom and dad, by all means, do that as well.
Definitely.
Thank you again. Al Woods from Woods Recruiting, based out of Cleveland, Ohio. The Mistake by the Lake.
Championship City. Thanks a lot for having me on.
No, that's the Mistake by the Lake. Y'all ain't that big yet. Come on. I'm not buying into that hype y'all got going on with that little chump on that basketball team
we
you
won
got.
the championship in basketball. We got it.
He'll never be Michael Jordan. Forget about it.
Oh, man. All right. Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Al. I had to give you a hard time. All right, that's Al Woods again, people from Woods Recruiting. Thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to take a break here, come back on the other side, and check out what you want to talk about. What's on your mind today? It is Open Phone Friday on thepowerofvoices.com. We'll be right back, take another little break here, and chop it up again.
Welcome to the new world of talk radio, thepowerofvoices.com.
Attention Las Vegas residents. Olympic Cleaning Services is the company for all your green cleaning needs. Call us now, 866-984-7444. Olympic Cleaning Services specializes in residential, commercial, construction, move-in, move-out, carpet cleaning, auto detailing, and we also provide emergency services when you need it. Call us now, 866-984-7444. For all first-time customers, you'll receive 15% off. Call us now, 866-984-7444, or go to OlympicCleaningservices.com. Go green today.
News and entertainment your way, whenever you want it, wherever you want it, on any device you're using at the moment, right? Then the internationally award-winning Crown City Network has you covered. Our website, crowncitynews.com, has written news stories and videos from news to talk, entertainment, politics, and more. Crown City Network. We connect your world.
Hey, it's Josefa Salinas, your host of Check Out This Book, where each week we talk with different authors, independent filmmakers about their projects. Wouldn't you love to know about a book before you download it or buy it? What was the reason that the author didn't write that next book in the series? Or why did the character have to die? Or in that independent film, what really was the motivation? Come on and join me on Check Out This Book and find out what everybody's talking about.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as the people it's made from. So where do you find the best people? that may surprise you.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
This is talent worth knowing about.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Who says you can't have fun and learn at the same time? ThePowerOfVoices.com.
Okay, welcome back to the show. It's called The Lee Michaels Show on thepowerofvoices.com. We are live and direct every day, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time. Thank you so much for listening. We just heard from Al Woods and Woods Recruiting, based out of Cleveland, Ohio, to help your child to get into college, sports scholarship, and all that good stuff. And we'll have him back again to maybe a little later in the year for those people who missed the show. But I think it's very important to understand some of your options, especially as it relates to athletics and how to get into school, into college, get those huge bills off your back. And he's gotten kids with full scholarships. I think that's fantastic. And we need to know more about that so you can take advantage of the opportunities. Anyway, it's open mic, open phone Friday. Every Friday we do that to allow you to talk about whatever you want to talk about. And our number is 424-227-9461. 424-227-9461. And it's just that easy, whatever you want to talk about. You said, Lee, I don't want to talk about nothing but how to raise chickens. Then okay, bring it on. So, Carol, what you got going on over there? You've been all over Facebook and checking out the news that's sitting there.
I thought it was kind of funny because first I looked at it and fell for it. It said Halloween falls on Friday the 13th. And I thought for a minute, wait, how could it fall on Friday the 13th if it's October 31st, isn't it?
Exactly.
You'd be surprised how many people just like me looked at it and said, oh, wow. Then it dawned on me, I said, wait a minute. How could it be Friday the 13th if Halloween's October 31st?
Yeah, that's right.
I can't believe Halloween's almost here.
Yeah.
Scary.
As soon as Halloween is over, then you're talking Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and here we'll be looking at 2017.
It's funny you were just talking about this young girl that took 2 trucks up to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
On this earthquake in Italy, there's a bunch of chefs. I think they're cooking spaghetti or something they're doing to get money to bring. It shows that a lot of people have compassion right now.
Absolutely.
We just need to have more compassion to these people in, is it Syria, where they got bombed again? I mean,
yep.
It just breaks
Catching
your heart
hell.
when you see little kids, and then people don't want to help these people out. I just don't get it. I mean, when the Jewish people were in the Holocaust, the same thing kind of happened to them. There were boatloads they wouldn't let in.
That's true. Yeah, you were making reference to this young lady here.
Yes.
She's a school teacher in public schools down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. No, she's in New Orleans. And her and her family members and friends, her name is Rubia, Rubia Garcia. They did a GoFundMe, and it took a couple of truckloads of goods up to Baton Rouge to help the victims from the flooding. And I just love people who do things like that. I mean, because they're doing it for the right reason. It's kindness and caring, and they want to help people. And I followed her on Facebook for probably, feels like about a year or better. And when she comes on, she does a lot of Facebook Live broadcast. And the messages that she gives out are so powerful, and they penetrate your mind and leaves a lasting impression. And it's just, I mean, I saw her one day sitting in her car with all the windows rolled up, and she was trying to show people how devastating doing that to your pet or a child or an elderly person, leaving them in a locked up car in the heat And she sat there and did a live broadcast on her phone to show you the sweat rolling off of her. And she described how she was feeling and what she was going through. And she did it for as long as she could. But folks, see, these are the kind of things that really matter. And I bet she's a top-notch school teacher. Just listening and watching to what she does on Facebook, I got to think that those kids that are lucky enough to be in her class got to love her immensely. So my hat's off to Rubia Garcia down in Louisiana, down there in the French Quarter. She probably doesn't live in the French Quarter, but I'm just saying, she's down there in that area, and God bless you, Rubia. Keep doing what you're doing. And I want to reach out to her and see if we can get her on the show and have her talk about what she's doing. It's probably going to be impossible this time of the day, but maybe we can even record her in the evening and do a playback of an interview with her, because I think she's got a lot to say. She weighs in on academics, the whole educational issues, politics, just good character kind of stuff. So we need more people like Rubia in our society doing positive things. And then she's a great dancer. She shows her, doing the salsa and all the Latin kind of dances. And she's not a Latino. She was married to a guy by the name of Garcia. And I think she's Irish or something. So, but just seems like a delightful young lady. So hats off to you, Rubia. Reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the show. But, there's so many people like that. I call them heroes, and we don't see and hear about them often. So when I see a hero, I like to give them their props. And by the way, thank you, JJ. I saw your message on Facebook. You were thanking me for pumping your book up, but that's easy. See, when you're a professional like JJ Johnson, who was a radio broadcaster for many, many years in Cleveland, San Francisco, down here in L.A., the guy's just a professional, and he's a great friend. So go out and buy JJ's book. I have it still here. Yep, I got it right here in the studio. JJ, I'm keeping this in the studio. I'm going to talk about it all the time. Air Check, Life in Music Radio by JJ Johnson. That's my dog right there. So go out and buy this book. It's a great book, and I'm not promoting it just because he mentioned me in there twice, and there's a picture of me in there when we were doing a Parliament Funkadelic concert here in Los Angeles back in 1977. So, but buy the book. It's really a good read, and you'll enjoy it. It's very entertaining, and it tells you some insight and some inside stuff of what went on back in the day. What else is going on? Donald Trump is still nutting up, and Hillary Clinton is throwing missiles at him. They're like, this is going to be a dirty fight. Just get thick skin, because the gloves are off and we're going to see a nasty fight. And we know that because we can look at the primary season and how nasty it was. This is for all the marbles now. So Donald's going to come out with everything imaginable and things that you can't even think about. And Hillary's she's not a chump. She's not a pushover. She's not afraid to fight. So it's going to get nasty. So just stand by for that. I just hope that the focus doesn't get away from the real issues. The American people, jobs, the tax situations, okay? Housing, the cost of living, job opportunities. Did I say job opportunities? More job opportunities. Bring back some of those jobs that you've sent overseas through outsourcing. Come up with a plan to encourage American corporations from storing their money offshore so they don't have to pay taxes on it. Bring the money back to home. Those are the issues that are important to me as an American citizen. Better education for our students. I will jump up and down every day about that. Eradicate homelessness. Better health care. Better mental health care. These are the things that are important to keep America moving forward. Did I mention more job opportunities? Work out the issues with our immigration policies. Enforce the laws that we already have. Correct our justice system. Make it better. We have one of the best in the world, but it's not perfect. Let's eradicate, delete, eliminate racism. Now, that's going to have to come from you, not a damn politician. From you, from me, from the people here in this country. We need to get along. But for our politicians, they need to go to Washington and do their jobs on our behalf. Plain and simple. And if you don't do it, politicians, senators, House of Representatives, presidents, governors, mayors, council members, aldermen, then we're going to fire you. We're going to take your job away from you and give it to someone else. And that's the way it should be. You can't get away with stupidity in corporate America. If you're running your own business, you don't hire people that don't show up to work, that don't perform well. You let them go. So why is it that our politicians sit up there on their fat asses and just grind money for themselves and all their cronies, and we let them get away with it? You know what? I'm more upset with us than I am with them, because they're going to continue to do what we allow them to do. So look at yourself in the mirror and be mad at yourself. And think with a clear mind. And with that, I'm going to turn the rest of the show over to Carol.
You talk so long, I forgot what
You
I
forgot
was
you were supposed to be here, huh?
No, I had thought about things, but I forgot about them. What I was going to talk about.
No, you sitting over there playing with Facebook.
Oh, actually, I'm looking. That's how I find stuff is through Facebook.
She's sitting there texting with her friends.
No, I'm not texting. My
hey,
phone's
girl,
over,
how you
phone's
doing?
over there.
I'm talking about Facebook.
No,
you can send messages on there.
I'm not, though.
No? Okay.
He's just picking on me.
Yeah, I am.
I'm already stressed because, my car
car's
is costing
in the
me
shop.
some money, and the mechanic suggested I get rid of it, but this was the biggest joke. I've taken care of my car.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I'll give you $3,500 for it. I go, are you crazy? Do I look like I'm stupid? He's telling me why I should get rid of it.
Yeah,
Now
because
I'm
he wants
spending
it.
almost $1,400 today.
Damn.
But I should sell it.
Yeah, for $3,500.
Oh, but I was thinking maybe I will lease another car and just keep that car, because I'm not going to give my car to somebody. That's giving it to them.
That one's paid for, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. See,
I don't need two cars, but I actually like my car.
I'm one of those people that I don't fall in love with a car.
I'm not in love with the car. I like the car.
Yeah. But some people really, like, well, I can't let it go because I've had it so long, it's paid for. And
that isn't it with me, though. I just like the car.
Yeah.
And I really can't. I'm not going to let myself go out and buy a new Lexus. It's just not worth it to me.
Well, I've got a friend, and I'm going to bring Armando on the show.
Been there, done it, did it. But
I feel you. Me too. Yeah, that's why I'm not in love with cars anymore. I look at them to fulfill a purpose. But my buddy Armando Rivera that lives in the Chicago area, who's another broadcast friend of mine, has a car that he's got 350-some thousand, maybe it's 360 or 370 by now. And he won't let that car go for nothing in the world. He says, Lee, it's paid for. I don't want no bills. I said, but how much maintenance are you putting in it? Because he's always talking about something that's breaking down on it. And he just, he's holding on to that car. He says, I don't want a car payment. And he's not working right now. So I understand that. But there have been times where he's been working more than not working. I've been telling him for 28 years to get rid of this car.
Yeah,
he won't do it.
You know what, Lee? Remember when I went to Costco's and I told you that woman backed into my car and hit
Yeah.
it really hard?
Yeah.
I kept telling these mechanics ever since she hit my car in the front, it hasn't been right. And it's funny because I put new brakes yesterday and a rotor.
Okay.
I could feel the difference. Now, I think it's the pump to the power steering. She hit my car so hard, she had to jar something.
That's a possibility.
And like an idiot, I didn't take her insurance information. She just told me call her if there's. But it's been months now, but I'm thinking of calling her
Yeah.
and saying, I've had nothing but problems since you hit my car.
Yeah. It's going to be hard pressed for her to, I would think. She's going to give you a big pushback. Well, why'd you wait all these months? You got to expect all the
But
excuses.
I took it to a mechanic right after, and he go, oh, there's nothing. And it's funny that what they're fixing, that's the noise it was making.
Yeah.
So she had to jar something.
Now, what are they doing today to your car?
A new power steering pump and something else.
Mm.
Everything relates to the front.
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't that strike you funny that and a Lexus isn't even broke into till it has like over 200,000 miles. I only have like 118,000. I just think it'd be silly just to get rid of it.
Well, if it's serving a purpose, why get rid of it? Why even go lease another car and then have that one set there?
Oh, it wouldn't sit. I'm just thinking of leasing a more economical car and keeping my car. I like my Lexus. I'm kind of like your friend. I like my car.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
A long time ago, I never bought my own car. I always had a man that bought it for me. So when you do buy something for yourself, you appreciate it.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. In life, you tend to appreciate things that you have to work for, and that's what I tell my kids. They're not kids anymore; they're all adults. But I tell them, say, when you go out and buy your own car, then you'll learn to take care of it. But it's easy when somebody gives you something, and then you have a little less respect for it because easy come, easy go. But knock on wood. All three of my children are on their own. They're doing well and pretty enterprising, all three of them.
I have to change the subject a little. I'm a little shocked that I seen Britney Spears last night or today on news. And
you really don't like her, do you?
No, I like Britney.
You
but
talk about her all
I'm
the
tired
time.
No, I don't talk about her. I just talk about people that lip sing. And they were doing that thing where this one guy has started this. He's got his own little show from it where I did it again.
See, you're conscious of it.
Yeah,
now.
where he has artists come and sing karaoke in his car.
Oh, really?
And it was funny. First, Demi Lovato did with one of the, what do they call those boys? There's three of them, the Jones Brothers or something.
Oh, okay.
Jonas
Demi
Lovato was screaming so loud you couldn't hear him because I've seen her perform and she wasn't all that great, but then other times she's great. But she wasn't, you couldn't really hear him. But then they brought Britney Spears and it was like what you see when she does a show now. I would almost think they had her on Lithium or something because she was like, she wasn't singing.
Really?
She couldn't sing. Either that or she had lip injections and her mouth wouldn't move. It's like they had Gwen Stefani. That's another one. If she had to sing, and I don't think she auto-tunes because she doesn't sing that great anyway when she does live, which you have to give her some credit. She sings, but Britney Spears just picked up another year in Vegas. But that's because a lot of, I guess, younger kids still support her, even though she doesn't sing. And the only reason I complain about that because I've watched what they did to Janet Jackson when she showed a boob. They made her, basically messed her career up. They didn't do nothing to, what was his name? Justin Timberlake?
Justin. Was it
And
Timberlake
then
or Bieber?
everybody knows
Timberlake.
Britney Spears lip sings. They know Ashley Simpson lip sings. But they turn around and Milli Vanilli lip sings, and they took their Grammy back from them.
Yeah.
One committed suicide. So I don't understand. If we're going to change the world, let's change it in all ways. Let's not make a black person an example, but let a white person continue. And I'm far from racist because there's a little of everything in me.
I agree with you. I think
It needs to change. We need change with everything.
Janet was criticized because of the boob exposure, but it's not like she pulled it off.
He
Somebody
pulled
else
it
did.
out.
Yeah. The energy should have been towards him, not towards her. But my question is, do you think that was planned?
I don't know, but why would you just condemn him and not her?
Yeah.
And I mean, what's the difference than Gaga walking on stage with a Band-Aid up her ass? What's the difference?
Band-Aid?
Or Miley Cyrus doing a show. I couldn't even watch it when I went because you could see her shaved vagina.
Mm.
And I don't understand, what's the object of that? I went to Guns N' Roses. They didn't do flying through the air or anything. It was kind of interesting because you were looking in the cameras, even though I had a great place up front. I had to throw that in. To watch them show
off.
their hands on the guitar.
Yeah.
To zero in on their feet, their tapped. I found that more interesting, especially watching them because the way they played those instruments, it was like part of them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that often. Now, I think more artists should feature the people in their bands and that. They should show them more because you don't see a lot of that now.
Yeah. It's a whole different world than the younger generation. You know, they appreciate what they know and what they grew up on, like we appreciate what we grew up on, and it is a big difference between the artists of today and what we appreciate. No doubt.
When Prince did his show, and he didn't have he charged everybody $25. Whoever got in there first. My son said it was one of the best shows he ever seen. When he seen Janet Jackson, he said the same thing. Now, Guns N' Roses, he couldn't believe how good they were.
Yeah.
So it kind of shows you, yes, younger people do appreciate it. It's just they don't get to see those concerts that often.
Yeah. They're not out there like they used to be.
And, you know, when it comes to black and white, it's a double standard in everything. Because like I was telling you about Tyler Perry's new TV show, which my friend turned me on to. And don't ask me the name because I'm one of these people, I can read a book and I cannot tell you the name of that book.
Right.
He has a new TV show with a white cast. And he's getting all kinds of slack from black people because they want to know why he has an all-white cast. And he came back at him, and I think he was really right what he said. He said, Norman Lear, how many shows did he do with all black casts? And you think about it, he did a whole lot.
Right.
Made him millions.
Right.
And do people get mad when you see Soul Train? Do you see white people getting awards? So it seems to work both ways, all of this. I think it's time to break the barrier even on award shows.
Yeah?
Because, I even noticed with the Oscars, you don't see a minority get a lot of Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's time the world changes some. We need to look at everybody as being the same. Your color shouldn't matter what color you are or how white you are or
well, yeah, because that was a big controversy. What was it, the Oscars, when Will Smith and others didn't show up and all that?
Yeah, but I don't think,
they were complaining.
I know people in the business, and I know Paris worked for him.
Mm-hmm.
My friends that were in the business said he didn't give anybody any screeners. He waited till the last day. You don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want your movie to be nominated, which a lot of people don't know the inside of what goes on with the Oscars.
Yeah, there's a process.
You have to give out screeners, and they said he didn't give out the screeners. He was holding. You have to do that from the time you want people to like your movie. If you don't, of course it's not going to be voted. And I myself heard it wasn't the best movie.
I saw it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, you're one person. You thought it was good, but it's obvious the people that decide, which I think they're a little old now. It's time to put some new, younger people in there to make that decision.
Yeah.
But the Danish boy, didn't that win a lot?
Yeah, I think it did.
If you haven't seen that, that was a very good movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Which one won?
I don't even remember. I'm like you. Those kind of things I don't try to retain.
Well, I'm that way with everything.
Yeah.
You can sit and tell me something, and I might be able to repeat the story, but I can't tell you the name.
Right.
I don't know why I do that. I just don't pay attention.
I'll tell you why. You want me to tell you why?
Why?
It was one peyote weed too many.
I don't smoke, though. I've told you that before.
I know,
once in a while.
I don't either, but I did.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. Somebody was talking to me yesterday, and you know how they're trying to prove to you that, I can't say the word cannabis. How do you say that for weed? It's proven that can help cure a lot of things. She said this person gave her some cream that was made from it.
Mm-hmm.
And her niece had a lot of pain going on, and they rubbed it on her.
Mm-hmm.
The pain went away just like that.
The oil from the weed?
But it was something she said with the cream they make up. But what I'm trying to get to is pharmaceuticals are not going to, even though there might be a cure for cancer, they don't want it to happen because
not.
it goes back again to the greedy.
Yeah, if you cure it, then they don't have anything to say.
Yeah, the greedy's just greedy.
Sure.
I mean, it's like if you watch people, it's like, did we see on the news Kardashians donating money to Baton Rouge? No, we didn't. Did we see Will Smith? Did we see anybody? But the funny thing is, who do you think watches Kardashians? I know I don't. It's people in smaller cities and places like that.
Of course, yeah.
I don't.
Well, you know
I have
what,
no
though,
desire to. What do I want to watch them for?
In all fairness, we don't know whether they did or did not make a donation.
Oh, now come on! How
know.
many times do you see them on magazines?
See who?
Go into a store and tell me how many times they were on a cover last year. The Kardashians.
No doubt. I mean, they're
what
they're
is
all
that
over the
telling
place.
you? Anything they do, they're going to do it for press. Let's be for real. When her husband got sick and he
Khloe.
OD'd, who showed up there? Khloe. Who was behind her?
Don't
Cameras.
be mad at Khloe. I love Khloe. You
can
can't
love
be mad at her.
I'm just talking about in general. Anything people do, it's just like all the fake followers.
Khloe, give me a call.
They compete with followers, but if you go in and you push on those followers, they probably have 1 million followers, maybe 2 at the most, but they're fake. You'll see all India people, and you'll see Arab names, and most of them don't have any followers that are on those pages. Just go in and check, and you'll.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
only
you're right.
reason Instagram don't get rid of theirs, or Facebook, because they pay them. You can buy anything nowadays. You can buy fame.
So you're saying that the Kardashians and other celebrities like that pay Instagram or Facebook or whoever to allow
they
them?
do.
Yeah.
How do you think?
How much it
How do
costs?
you think Instagram stays in business and Facebook?
Yeah. Well, I thought the
How many
ads-
times do you get a thing that comes to you and says, "I can give you 10,000 followers in such and such time"?
I know it's all.
And sometimes we have no choice but to compete that away. But when
I
you
don't
get
do it.
into
I won't do it.
89 million and 69 million, come on, everybody knows 69 million aren't watching those shows.
Yeah.
And 69 million are not following those concerts. If you watch concerts nowadays, I don't think I've seen very few concerts that you can't go into Groupon and they sell the nosebleed section and some of the other sections on Groupon. Now, if you can sell out, it wouldn't have to be on there.
Right.
But I mean, what I liked about Guns N' Roses, they were very honest. They sold out 90%. But they chose to go to some places where, not many people, but they still filled them up.
Right. Well, there's a demand for it. They have a big fan base. You know, it's just like Frankie Beverly and Maze hasn't had a song out in, 30 years, 25, 30 years. But they can still put 20,000 people into an arena because they have a huge, loyal fan base. I was just talking to a friend just a few days ago, and they were talking about Frankie Beverly. Oh, that was my friend Legia. She was saying that she went to a Frankie Beverly and Maze concert, and she was in the music business, and so she was able to get backstage and meet him. And she told me, she said she was a huge fan. She loved him, right? But when she got a chance to meet him, and he took off his hat, and he was bald-headed, and he was real short, and she was saying, wow, I'm so disappointed, because she had this big image of this. I mean, she was a complete fan.
Well, I was kind of like that, but I don't really follow Brian McKnight when we went to see him.
Yeah.
I don't know what the big sex appeal is. Even my sister says he's sexy. I just seen a thin man with a pretty smile, some nice teeth.
Yeah, nice white teeth.
And
huh?
happy songs I don't think the audience even knew.
Yeah.
But women love him. Well,
They
audience,
were out there.
they were out there,
Big
half
time.
naked, whatever they could be.
Yeah.
Women in white leggings that had cellulites for days and flab hanging out from their halter tops.
Stop it.
But then I got to hand it to those women because I used to always ask a man, what is it about a heavy-set woman? You can go out and men will ask, they're the ones that'll ask. They said because they don't have no hang-ups. And I thought about it. I go, you know what? They're right. They probably don't. And so
Some of them.
Yeah, but most of them don't. They're not going to turn somebody down or be rude. And he told me why he liked heavy-set women.
Really?
He said they're
This
great
is a friend of
partners
yours?
in bed. Yes.
Yeah.
He said they just don't have all those hang-ups. Oh wait, it's sitting up straight, my boob. Let me pump up some iron real fast.
Don't touch the hair.
And don't mess up. He goes, they're just, and I have to think about it. That's, even though I laugh and make fun of all these fake butts, I think men are really enjoying these fake butts.
Oh, yeah, no question. Most of us find that to be sexy.
Yeah, and I've been noticing that because, like I told you, I'm not skinny, and
No,
not
you're
looking
not.
at.
You're not.
But lately, I'm skinny to people, not men. Women are the ones
they're
that say
just
it.
haters.
It's always a
Don't
woman.
ignore that.
Oh, you need to gain some weight,
Ignore that. That's just women hating on you.
and it's like
You know how women are.
I'm not going to ever be a real big woman.
Yeah. As long as you're happy with the way you look and feel, then to hell with what somebody else is thinking.
That's right.
People be hating on you. I don't care. See, I'm not that vain. I don't care that my hair is falling out and turning gray. And probably if I live long enough, this little patch of hair that's here will probably be back here.
I don't have a problem with bald men.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, I think bald men are sexy. I don't like it if they're going bald and it's like bozo, the hair's towards the back, and say they have a fro. I don't like that. I think that's the time when he needs to take the rest
Gotta
off.
take it off, huh?
Don't wear a toupee, just take it off.
Bozo the clown.
You know who I'm talking about, how the clowns will have that bald thing up here?
Yeah.
And I've seen men that do that, or they wrap it. All of a sudden, they're
the
taking
comb over.
hair growing. Because I once had somebody come in a salon and they gave the client to me. And when I went to wash his hair, all of a sudden,
There was no hair to
there
wash.
was no, there was hair this long, but it was.
Just wrapped around.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. You're a professional in that world. You can tell a weave and a rug and all of that, right?
Oh, I can, but most people, that's what I basically do. So
What is Donald Trump sporting? Is that
I
real?
noticed he's lightened his hair. He's let the gray grow out. He's did something different.
Mm-hmm.
I almost think he has a small hairpiece up there. If I could see it up close, I would tell, but it looks a lot better. He doesn't have the raccoon eyes any longer if you look.
Right.
So somebody's went in and said, look, man,
You got to fix
if you
this.
want to be the president, you can't be looking like this because people follow what president looks like.
That's
and
true.
We'll have a bunch of raccoons running around. And
You showed me something in some pictures, what was it, yesterday or the day before, of some of the stars, and one in particular was Kim Kardashian. And I never thought about whether her hair was real or not, but you pointed me to a picture, and you could see this looks like a cap.
it is a cap.
And I went, damn. So, I mean, it just gave me a whole different impression about her. Not necessarily negative. It was just an eye-opener because I just assumed, and maybe I'm just ignorant to the facts, but I just assumed that was her hair. But you proved it to me because you said, look, right here, see there? And it was clear that because her hair was pulled up.
Not one of them have hair, to be honest, from what I understood.
Really?
No. But a lot of women don't. If we didn't have women like that, I wouldn't be able to make money because I don't have clients that have thick, luxurious hair.
Right.
I take the hard jobs, and I love a challenge. It's like I've told people for years when they think Selena Gomez is swinging all that hair, and nothing against her because the hair pieces she wears are beautiful. But I've noticed it since she was very young that she wears a full hair piece.
Interesting.
And you can stand up on one of those pieces. You will not. I can spot it because I do lace hair pieces, and I know strictly what to do where you can't see it. You can stand there and you won't see it.
I can tell a hair piece when a lady has it, you see her hair, her normal length, and then under that, you see this other layer that comes down, down to the shoulder blade.
That's because she's not letting a professional cut it.
Yeah.
Because I have clients, some of them, they won't let anybody cut it. And at one time, when I was really busy, I wouldn't do you if you weren't willing to let somebody blend that to your hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell these women, when people insult you, it's only because you're not letting anybody cut that hair. It
Mhm.
needs to be cut to your head, right?
Interesting.
So, and a lot of women buy cheap hair. I know when I used to go out and I'd
What do
see
you mean cheap hair?
cheap hair. Have you
what does
ever
that
went
mean?
out and you see women dancing and all of a sudden the hair's like starch? It's just all stiff and matted
So
looking.
what is good hair? I mean,
Good hair could
what's-
go anywhere from, I have one client, I buy her hair. I pay, from this one place, I pay $2,400 for just 8 ounces of hair for her.
really?
24, yeah, I
So
sure do.
where's this hair come from?
Most
this
blonde
is
hair,
human hair,
most
right?
blonde hair comes from, they'd get it from older women. And don't ask you, do they cut it off when they die and go in and they get it from the mortuary, they let them buy it? I don't know, but most blonde hair comes from gray hair because it's stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier to bring it to, because very seldom do you ever wear any hair that it's the natural color of that hair. And where a
Interesting.
lot of people are confused, they'll go out and try to color that hair, but people that do that for a living, they use they don't use colors that you use like we would use.
Mm-hmm.
They use like dyes and that, or they'll use bleach, regular clothing bleach, but they'll dilute it with a lot of water and they soak that hair in there to
And
get it to
bleach it.
lift. Yeah, so
Right.
it doesn't ruin the hair, but most people aren't aware of that. They don't realize that.
Now, I was reading somewhere or talking to someone about hair from different foreign countries that come here that might not be clean or might have lice or whatever. Is that true?
Well, yeah, that's true, but that's because it has lice eggs. Normally they won't be
Eggs,
bugs,
right.
but eggs can
Right.
get on somebody's head and their hair. And
And-
most people that sell hair, they clean that hair. Like if they're bringing in hair from Asia or somewhere, the person, the middleman's, no, they have solutions to clean it.
Mm.
But now there was a woman that opened up in Beverly Hills and she wanted to eliminate the middleman and just purchase herself. And that was a big mistake she made. Sometimes you can't cut the middleman out.
Yeah.
And women in Beverly Hills were getting lice.
Mm.
So to
Well,
me,
why wasn't
don't
she
try
smart
to
enough
take,
to clean it before selling
you
it?
can't just clean it like that. She didn't know that was on there.
Wow.
They use solutions to get rid of that.
Hmm.
And that, they literally, they strip hair a lot of times. A lot of people say, oh, I have virgin hair. It's all cuticle. I myself very seldom want hair that has all the cuticles. I used to buy, yeah, that's what people sold, but it mattered. It would mat real easy if the woman didn't pay attention how to take care of that hair. And here it was very expensive hair. So I usually buy a hair where there is a layer removed from it because then it makes it easier for her to manage.
I'll tell you, I would be one ugly woman if I was a woman because I don't think I would have the patience to deal with all the hair prep and makeup and
There are
I
a
would
lot
be
of,
one plain Jane.
A lot of women in color can do their own hair. They're very good.
Yeah.
Very good. There's a girl that works where I live, and I couldn't believe the hair she put on. I said, is that one with the cap? She said, yeah. How do you know? I said, well, that's what I do because I'm kind of private. She put this on so good. It was better than most professionals because she was smart. She made bangs. I'm sure you went out and you've seen women and the hair's way back here, the bang or something, because it's slipping and they need to go get it redone.
Yeah.
So, but I'm trying to create a new hairpiece that way to figure out how they can do it where they can reuse the hair instead of always having to get new hair.
I had a friend that was bald, here in the top, and he had a rug up there, and he took it off one day, and he had some little snaps in his
Yeah,
in his
some of
head.
them have snaps.
I went, damn. That blew me away. I was like stunned.
Well, when Howie Mandel used to be on, was it St. Elsewhere, and everybody loved that curly hair.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew that was a hairpiece because I did them and extensions, and I don't think he would care now. I wouldn't have said anything back then.
Mm-hmm.
But he's bald now, and actually I like him better. But this is when he was really young.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Nobody knew he was wearing a hairpiece. Chuck Norris, before he got cheap, he buys terrible
Oops.
hairpieces now. I have pictures when I did him. You would never know he was wearing a piece because he's worn them for years.
Now, when you knew Howie Mandel, did he Did he not want to shake your hand and stuff like?
Well,
Was
he's
he like
kind
that
of
then?
a person. Eddie Murphy's like that too.
Really?
He doesn't like to be touched. So yeah, I guess so. In his house, it was funny when I think about it. It was all white, beautiful house. At that time, I don't know where he lives now, but
Right.
it was up in Calabasas. But very nice man.
Who was that? Howie? You're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, a lot of people don't. Look at me. I don't want you to put your hands on me. And it has nothing to do with dirt. I just don't like people to do that.
I try to touch her every day. She freaks out.
No, I don't know what it is. I just don't like that. It makes me stiffen.
That's interesting. See, that's what makes the world go round, and that's what makes everybody different, because everybody has little things about them that's different, and that's okay. I respect, people who don't want to shake hands or touch and, stuff like that, hug. That's your thing. That's your thing. So I always respect that. And I think if most people, or if everybody was like that, then we wouldn't be so picky, and it wouldn't be, having the problems that we're having and being judgmental and, well, that's immoral. To hell with all that.
Yeah,
Man.
you have to be your own self. It's like, if you look at a lot of women now, especially celebrities, they're all starting to look the same.
Yeah.
Because they're all putting some lips and they're just all
Yeah, these
doing the same
fads.
thing. And it's like, I think that's why I always like Barbra Streisand. She's never had a problem about her nose.
Yeah.
And she's beautiful to me.
And
I
sing
look
her
at,
ass off.
what I like about her, she's got beautiful eyes.
Yeah, she does.
So
I would
you-
love to
you-
meet her.
Oh,
I've never
I think
met her.
she's just so sometimes you have to be content. You can't always think that's the perfect look.
Mm-hmm. She's a singing woman, boy, I tell you. I like her.
Is she a Republican or a Democrat?
No, she's a Democrat.
Oh, okay. Because last night was it last night when she was on? Was it Jimmy Fallon? And he was dressed like he was Trump, and was she supposed to be Hillary? And he was singing like he was Trump.
That's funny. I didn't see that. Yeah, I love Barbra Streisand. I always have from day one. I would love to meet her. Carole King, I think, was a phenomenal writer. She wrote some stuff for Aretha Franklin and many, many others. And her album Tapestry.
I've always liked Bette Midler.
Bette's funny. Yeah, she's a character. I didn't think she was the greatest singer, but she was
Well,
a
she
great
was
entertainer.
kind of rock, so
Yeah,
I liked
yeah.
her.
Yeah, she was
probably
good.
one of the first women to get on the floor and crawl and
Mm-hmm.
wear a bra and whatever. I like her.
Yeah, I like her too. But
She's a
you know
great
what?
actress,
If
too.
I was going to put together my top 10 greatest female singers of all time, I'm not sure Bette Midler would be in the top 10. But she's a great entertainer, no doubt about it.
Who would mine be? Christina Aguilar can sing.
Yeah, she can blow. There ain't no fake about her. She can do it, no doubt. I agree with you 100%. I've always thought she was underrated and didn't have the huge success.
Well, I think because she's not willing to be a lip singer. That's what they want, so they can get more longevity out of you.
I follow Levert on Facebook, senior. Eddie Levert, I'm talking about, lead singer of the OJs. And he's out on a campaign, and Eddie, I support you 100%, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track. He's out there beating the drum for some of the old school singers, back in the day. You could say the Temptations, the Four Tops era, the Delphonics, the Moments, OJs, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, that era of music. And now he's doing his own thing independently. And I think that's phenomenal. And I think radio should support these independent artists more. And I just love the idea that he's out there asking the audience to support what he's doing. And his fans and supporters are coming to the forefront. They're doing it. And I always said, if you don't ask for it, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, you got great singers out there. Howard Hewitt, great guy, great singer. And he's not working as much as he should. He's probably doing okay. In fact, I need to call Howie. And last time I talked to him, I was living in Vegas, so it's been about a year or so ago since I talked with him, and he lives right here in L.A. So I'm going to get him on the show and talk about the struggles of great artists that are not getting the jobs that they should have. But it's up to us, the public. If we supply the demand, the concert promoters will step up and hire these guys and start booking them. But we got to show up. We got to go buy those tickets.
I think Live Nation was smart to do Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
I know they're making a fortune off of that.
Sure.
I seen a ticket on one of the sites, and I had to go back and look again, and it said $9,000. It was just one left. Because I know they
$9,000 for a ticket?
That's what this one
That's
ticket
obscene.
when I looked in there.
Wow.
And I know they themselves had 1,000 seats of their friends and people.
Yeah.
So there's some good news, different news around this morning. Did you see that at Redondo Beach?
No.
These
what happened?
wealthy people put up a fence going onto the beach, no trespassing. You can't own the beach. And I loved it because they came out and told them, take that down.
Take it down.
I mean, they literally were thinking they could stop people from. No, I'm such a mean person, revengeful. I'd probably like to now, maybe later on this weekend, Labor Day, get about 300 people and have a little beach party in front of their place. Because you're getting carried away now when you think you could stop people.
Yeah.
And then did you see where in Mississippi they found these 2 nuns slain in their Mississippi home?
No.
Yeah, somebody killed them, and these were 2 nuns that gave up their time and whatever to help the poor. But they found them, I think it was today. Was it today or yesterday? They found them dead.
That's sick. This was in Mississippi?
Yeah, I see more and more crime going on with this election. I was a little disappointed in Hillary. I'm all for her, but don't go down to his level. You don't have to. Let him talk that way, but I don't want to see her do that. She doesn't need to.
Memorial services for Frank Hollison III, a.k.a. King Hot Dog, the master storyteller, will be held on Saturday, September 3rd at noon till 1 at Palm Garden, 5957 West Virginia Beach Boulevard in my hometown, Norfolk. So they're going to have a memorial services. Man, I would love to be there because Hot Dog was an inspiration to me and hundreds of other radio personalities. One of the best that ever kissed the mic. No question about it. Farewell, dog.
Now, did you see where ISIS extremists are rooting for Trump to win the presidential election?
Well, that's a kiss. If I was Donald, I would say, thanks, but no thanks.
Well, the way he talks, he reminds you of what a dictator would be, the things he says. And I mean, he's trying to change now, but we've already heard what came out of his mouth. Maybe this new person's teaching him how to talk. They've groomed him up a little better, but we all know where he's really at. And I mean, he has caused quite a bit of problems in this country. He's brought out racists between all races. He's caused major issues.
Yeah, he has. Whether he has done it knowingly, on purpose, or not, that is the end result. The country, he has given mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to hate. Plain and simple. It's been lying dormant, but he went over and gave mouth-to-mouth to hateful, ignorant people, and they are very vocal and very visible right now. And it saddens me deeply because America, for the most part, the majority of Americans are not like that. And I hope and pray that more people of the same mindset that says, no, that's not me, that's not America, will come out and vote against this guy. I did read something last night that...
And why would he think he can get the black votes now after he's basically called black people with small minds.
Well, yeah,
they
that's
move
true.
slow.
And
Does he
what do you
really
have to
feel that?
lose? Give me a chance. Forget about it. But I am seeing a rise in Republican registrations, voter registration, especially in some of the key states, some of the key battleground states. So that's alarming, and that could show a sign that this guy might be able to pull it off, which is frightening to me.
No,
but-
he's not going to pull it off.
Well,
the only
he
way
will
he'll
if
pull
we
it
don't show
off
up and
if
vote.
people are too confident, like you said, and don't go out and vote.
Yep. But the rise of Republican registration is a sign that he has given mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to people who think like what he's been talking about. That would be the only reason somebody would sign up to be Republican, is to vote for him. And other
What,
Republicans
to watch him
like
put up
mindset.
walls? I mean, is this
There are
is
a
he
lot of
sending
people.
his wife and his first wife away? Because they're saying she wasn't legal when she came here.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. A lot of questions that need to be answered. And I don't think he's as transparent as he should be. If you want to be the president of the United States, show me your tax returns. What are you trying to hide? And I don't want to hear this bullshit about, you're being audited. So what? Show me what you got. Show me the years that are complete, that are not being audited. Why haven't you done that? Okay? 3,500 lawsuits, 1,300 of them active. That's a sign. That's a sign. That many civil lawsuits means that you're not a good businessman. That's what that says to me. That says that you're very dogmatic. You don't care. You're reckless. You don't have a strong word. You don't honor contracts. You want to beat the vendors down so that you don't have to pay them what you agreed to pay? That's not honorable. Not at all. That's not presidential. That's a heathen. That's a crooked business person.
It's just really funny. This woman that she speaks sign language, and she's talking in sign language, but they're putting the words up and telling you how we think, and she's right. She's giving you all the things. I don't know if we have time. She goes, if you're bisexual, it means you're confused. If you're gay or lesbian, you're a sinner. If you're very skinny, you're on drugs. If you're fat, you're depressed. If you dress up, you're a slut. If you dress comfortably, you're a slob. If you have female friends, you're a player. If you have male friends, you're a whore. If you speak your mind, you're a bitch. If you say nothing, you're really rude. If you talk sweet with strangers, you're a fake. If you cry, you're a drama queen. We live in a society where we can't survive if we don't label everyone. And she's right. Everything she's sign languaging to is the truth.
That's interesting.
Think about it.
That is interesting.
Because I could give you at least 4 of those where I've had people do things.
That's interesting, and
I've been guilty of some of that, of thinking things.
It takes a lot for someone to admit when they're wrong, and I appreciate that. That one a person can say, you know what, I was wrong in my thinking, and I'm sorry that I made those statements, but you can't. I can't accept your apology if it's a year late. That dog won't hunt with me. I can't go for that. And I'm speaking directly about Donald Trump and all the hate-filled messages that he has spewed while on the political campaign. And now he wants to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't accept your apology. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all about that. This is a lesson that you must learn, Mr. Trump. And no, we don't accept your apology. Not going to happen. But I'll say this to anyone who feels that Donald Trump is not the right person to be the president of the United States, and you're not registered to vote, you need to get out and register. Otherwise, you don't count. I bet this is Barry. It is Barry. He always calls in the 11th hour. Why is it that you call 3 minutes before the show is over?
Well, because I've been having so much fun listening to y'all.
Oh, okay. We've been entertaining you.
Yeah. Let me start with Carol. She's on a roll today, boy. Ooh, good Lord.
You made snot bubbles come out of her nose.
You know, sometimes he's a jerk.
I know.
I mean, yesterday I accidentally spilled water on me, and he just had to go on and on about it.
It was funny. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know?
And you, young man, you should go to bed more often. You yawn at least 29 times.
Oh, man, you have no idea. I'm tired as
Wait
hell.
a minute.
I'm so happy it's Friday.
You knew the camera was on. You tried not to open your mouth. I'm like, look at it.
Stop. What are you, the damn media critic now?
Wait a minute. I have to agree with Carol. I love my cars, too, after broadcasting. And I can certainly understand that. And as far as you, I don't want to get too personal, but you
like
drove
that's going to stop you.
You drove Mercedes back in the 90s. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you got one parked outside now, don't you?
No, I've gotten rid of all of that. 80s and 90s. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
And the 2000s.
Okay. All righty.
Yeah, but I've changed. I don't do that anymore. I'm a new man.
Oh, okay. All right. So you got a Ford outside now, huh?
No.
He won't even date. I try to get him took him somewhere and hunt all these women, and I go, you like her?
No.
And he wouldn't even look.
No.
I think he was looking from the side.
There were no 10s.
There was a few 10s there.
No, there were no 10s. If you're not a 10, I can't grin.
All righty then. All right, I ain't going to hold y'all. I know you got to go, but I just had to tell both you and Carol that.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the high note here at the end of the show. Thank you for checking in, Barry Pope.
All righty, sir.
Have a great
Carol.
weekend.
All right, you guys too.
Hey, come pick me up in your Mercedes, damn it.
Nah, you don't like cars. No, I get you the number of the Uber.
See how you're going to treat your boy?
Nah, I'm just joking.
I don't like Ubers.
I don't mind it.
No, anybody can drive one. I told you, Sky said this guy was Snapchatting. She took and screenshotted it. Anybody can drive an Uber.
Yeah, well, that's true. As long as you got a nice car and insurance and stuff.
Driver's license and some insurance.
That's it. That's all that's required.
Can get that. Ask me how I know.
All right, Barry, have a good weekend. Let's talk over the weekend, buddy.
Okay, all right.
Take care.
Carol. Bye-bye.
All right. He said bye, Carol. So you took your headphones off. You ready to get out of here. You got somewhere to go?
I can't go anywhere. You have to drive me back to the mechanic.
Well, you're going to be here all day. Hey, have a great weekend. Thank you so much for spending the week with us. We'll see you till Monday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time for another 2-hour episode of Anything Might Happen on The Lee Michaels Show on thepowerofvoices.com. Have a great weekend and share the broadcast. Don't forget to do that. Have a good one.